Chair, members across the chamber have set out in moving terms the context and the consequences of the last few months in Gaza, and I won't try and capture that. I worked for relief and development agencies for 10 years before I came here, and still I have never encountered a humanitarian context as hellish as the people of Gaza are experiencing. Our constituents are watching in desperation and distress, and they feel powerless to the point of complicity. That's not the main issue here, but it has consequences for their faith in politics and in international law, and I want to give voice to it. Those feelings of dread people feel at the images on their screens and that are etched permanently in their minds. I feel that way. I look at my 6-year-old, sweet, smiling, innocent daughter, and I see a 6-year-old trapped in a car for days with nobody listening to her cries, and the bodies of all the people she loved, and those stories will never leave people. And worse again, people who express basic human emotions and solidarity with people who face the unimaginable are being met with slurs and distortions and being smeared as being pro-Hamas and anti-Semitic slurs that were made in this chamber just a few moments ago. Like most of my constituents, I stand in full solidarity with the victims of the wicked Hamas attacks of the 7th of October. They were vile and indefensible and carried out by a cynical organisation who have not allowed the people of Gaza to vote for a generation, but they do not justify the horrors which have followed. I defend Israel's right to exist, and I stand in solidarity with Jewish people here and around the world. That includes those standing against the far-right Netanyahu government throughout the last summer and his excesses. He is a man who, in word and deed, has repudiated the two-state solution that many of us in this chamber advocate, and which genuinely is the only possible outcome for that region that doesn't condemn them to years of this nightmare. Comparisons between the Middle East and Northern Ireland are shallow, and I avoid making them, but the one that can be learned is that the first step is stopping the killing. Those who are asking for a permanent solution, a permanent ceasefire, are setting an impossibly high bar. Even in Northern Ireland, when paramilitaries were dragged to that point, it took a decade for those ceasefires to be made permanent. We need to stop the bombs, we need to stop the rockets, we need to release the hostages, and we need to release the aid, and then we need to work every day to make that sustainable. Only politics can do that. There's no military solution here. There never was. I don't really care which amendment gets through tonight. I don't care what form of words it is, so long as this House sends a clear message and states an end to this slaughter and a pathway to a just and lasting settlement and international momentum towards that. Israel has failed to reach its objectives. If we don't support a ceasefire now, when will we?